What up, Marvin? Back with another video. Um, this topic is total forgiveness. Basically, just forgiveness. Um, I was having a discussion with someone. I won't say who and whatever. And they told me they said, you know, oh, I forgive them, but I'll never talk to them again. I was like, well, you don't forgive them. And, they're going back and forth and they're telling me, well, I prayed about it and I talked to God about it and you can't tell me. And I was like, okay, let's break down what forgiveness is. Okay. And I told him, I said, now, I'm not saying that you have to pick up your phone and call them, nothing like that. But when you're saying you're not going to talk to somebody again, um, as far as if you see them and they say something to you and you just totally ignore them, that's animosity towards them, that's in your heart, that's a certain feeling of hatred, anger. I'm not gonna say hatred, I'm gonna say anger. And um, that's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is still continuing to love that person, and you can't love somebody and totally not care for them. Another thing, um, no matter what you've done in your life, no matter how many sins you've committed, um, or anything like that, God forgives you, and you can always go to God with things. You get what I'm saying? Um, he gives you the free will to say, you know what, God, I'm sorry, I apologize. This is that. So when you say you will never talk to somebody, or you won't forgive somebody, because some people have a struggle with forgiveness. You're saying that a person has done more wrong to you than they've done to God, and that's not the case, because God forgive them. As long as they repent, they ask for forgiveness, God will forgive them, and you should give them the opportunity. You should forgive them as well, because you're saying that you're not. You're saying that you're higher than God. You're saying that I don't have to forgive them because I don't want to. And you can do what you want to do. I'm not saying in life you can't. You can, but just know that God asks us all to forgive, and you'll be at peace. You'll be way more at peace with life, in my experience, when you live in a world where you have no animosity towards anybody, where you love everybody, you feel very much so at peace the closer you get to God. Because that's just, to me, that just shows where you place in your heart. You place in your heart with the love of trying to love everybody and people. And another thing about forgiveness, I in my personal experience, the way I do it, I don't really like to talk about certain things, but I just think this is, to me, the way I do it is I already forgive people before they do anything to me. When I meet somebody, I don't expect them to do right by me. I don't expect them to do wrong. Um, well, I can't say I have good expectations for everyone. I can't say I don't expect them to do, but I I'm already have put place in my heart. I'm gonna forgive you before. And a lot of people can think, oh well, people can take advantage of you. Well, you can't take advantage of a person who, if I've already came to at peace with things that I understand in life. I just understand in life everything is not going to go your way. A lot of things are not going to go your way, and I understand that. A lot of people are going to do things to you, and I understand that. And I understand that I've done things to people, and I've said things to people that wasn't right. It was wrong, and I want them to forgive me. So I understand, and I think a lot of people think that it's certain things that you just can't forgive people for, and I'm not saying forgiving someone is easy. But it's simple. It's simple as plain. God asks us to do it. It's that simple. Life is a very simple thing. It's not complicated. It's just we make it complicated. You might have a struggle forgiving somebody, but I've talked to people also, and they believe, like, how people block somebody from Facebook, block their number, things like that. That's just a form of hatred. You're trying to block them out of your life. You don't want to hear what they have to say. That's not a form of forgiveness. Now, a lot of people think, okay, let me give you an example. Say a married couple. Let's say one of the one of the spouses cheat, and the other spouse doesn't want to be with them anymore. A lot of times people say, "Oh, people should, everybody, people should forgive and give back." A lot of times because people like to use excuse for adultery, so or people like to use excuses for certain things, so they be like, "Oh, it's fine for them to forgive," which it is fine for them to forgive, but I don't think people understand what forgiving a person is. Now, if I'm married and my wife cheat on me, just because I don't take her back doesn't mean I haven't forgiven her for what she's done. That's just if I want the divorce, that's just the divorce. That just means that I don't want to be with her anymore. It doesn't mean I don't forgive her. That doesn't mean I don't still love her as a person. That's just, and my personal thing is just you broke the promise, so it's time to end it. Like, to me, a marriage is a big promise, and to me, once it's broken, it's broken. I just feel like it's broken, and but that's my personal, to each his own. But that's just me personally. To me, in my experience in life and what I expect out of my marriage, once a promise is broken, it's gonna stay broken. And God, He gives us that one permission that He gives people to separate is adultery. And I think a lot of times people say, "Oh, you can forgive, you forgive and stay with them." Now, let's say this: just because you stay with the person does not mean you forgave them. A lot of times people think that, "Oh, I stayed when I forgave them." No, because a lot of people who stay with people who cheated on them or committed adultery, and they haven't forgiven the person. They bring it up all the time. They throw it in people. They throw it in their face. They're very bitter about it. They haven't forgiven that person. Just because you chose to stay with them don't mean you've forgiven them. Forgiveness is placed in your heart. It's how you feel towards that person. Your hatred towards them or your love towards them. I don't think people understand what that is. So like when I talk to people and they say, blocking somebody on Facebook is okay and things like that, and I'll be like, that's a form of hatred. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying if somebody, just won't leave me alone, this is that. But a lot of times people exaggerate that. They go, "Oh, that person won't leave me alone." I'll be like, really? Or is it what they was doing? And it don't even be that bad. But I don't know. But I think people need to understand, when you say you forgive somebody, you're saying that if they come to you, you're gonna be at peace with them. You're gonna be able to, if they smile at you, you can smile back. You're not gonna frown upon them. You won't talk bad about them behind their back. Not saying you won't tell the truth about them. That's okay, but you won't talk bad about them. You don't want to see. You don't want nothing bad to happen to them. You want only good. You want good for them. You want them to anything, if they have a something about them that's wrong, you want them to be able to change it. You want to pray for them and be like, God, they need help now. And like I said, I'm not saying you have to fool with them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, you got to pick up your phone and call them, or that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. You might not ever talk to that person again, but you can still be at peace with that person. You can pray for them, and you can really wish them a great life. You can wish, that they fix whatever that they're having issues with. So when you're saying you forgive somebody, it's in it's when where you place your heart. And I don't know how many times I've said this, but when you place your heart, when you view people as God viewed them, that's a step towards forgiveness, because you understand that we all done wrong, no matter the level of wrong. No matter what they've done, the level of wrong. And when I say that, I mean, adultery, murder, I don't know, rape, stealing, things like that. Even just, some people can't take, I don't know, it's a lot of things, man. But, you got to learn, to forgive, but, I'm not saying it's easy, but, it's the right thing. It very much so puts you at peace. Trust me, it puts you at peace. It just does. You place your heart. You have a different aura about yourself. You get rid of bitterness. Um, You just when you look at everybody, you love them. So understand what forgiveness is. It's no animosity towards that person. When you still have animosity, you don't respond to them if they text you, whatever. You don't answer their phone calls, stuff like that. And I'm not saying if they keep calling you and you just keep telling them, hey, don't come. It's different. What I'm saying is, if you haven't talked to that person in a long time and they just pick up the phone and call you, you never know why they're calling. And like I said, I'm not saying you have to fool with them, but have a heart. That's all it is having a heart. You know, have a heart to be willing to say, you know what, I know they done wrong. Because one thing about it is, I always tell people, don't try to act like you never done something wrong to somebody. When you don't forgive somebody for something, it's just kind of like you say, I ain't never done that to nobody, so I don't have to forgive nobody. And even if you haven't, you still, God's never done wrong to people. Jesus never did anything wrong to anybody. He forgives everybody for what they do because he's the perfect guy. He understands that. Jesus asked for forgiveness for the people who was crucifying him. Now that's love. I mean, think about it. Would you be able to do that? Would you be able to look up and ask God, forgive them for they not know what they do? And when you learn that, you should do that a lot of times because with a lot of things, especially if you have a certain belief and you feel a certain way, just ask God. They don't understand. It can be frustrating. I'm not gonna say I don't get frustrated at times with things, but I understand that you know I put it in God's hands, and I place my heart, and I still love the people. They can say and do the most ruthless things, but my heart is still gonna be like, you know what, that person needs help, and I don't agree with what they're doing, but the only way to change anything negative is through love. Negativity doesn't change negativity. It just adds negativity, you know. So I'm out. I really would like to get some feedback from this video, if possible. But I'm out. If you watch, thank you. I appreciate it. I will go.